So start it and give it a second. Okay, we're good. So the first question is, how do you use social media?
How do I use?
Yeah.
I basically use it just to keep up with friends. Um, Being from out of state, living here in New Mexico, and a lot of my friends in Colorado, a lot of family in Colorado. It's a way for me to keep in touch with them without having to call them all the time. So that's basically the reason I use it for. I use it for entertainment reasons, restaurants, bars, different things like that. So that's basically the reasons I use it.
Okay. And Ashley?
Okay. Well, like Anthony said, I use it to keep up with friends and family. I also use it for networking purposes. I use um, job search social media, like LinkedIn, a lot to find a job, because currently I'm going to be unemployed soon. I also use it to keep up with news and articles. I really like the Yahoo app for my mobile phone a lot. And yeah, those are my top three, I guess.
Okay, Lee?
I would have to agree with both of you. I use it mainly to keep up with my family because they're spread out everywhere. Friends too. We're at the age where friends are starting to move away, and everyone's going to different grad schools and such. So keep in touch with them, and that's really the only way I use it.
Okay. Jackie?
Okay. I use it to keep in touch with people that you don't see every day. And then I also use it through work. I'm a teacher at a high school, and that's a way that we are, as like teachers, are able to communicate with our kids. Like we have a Facebook page and Instagram page that we update of activities going on at school, and things like that. So I use it to interact with students too.
Michelle?
I'm gonna have to say that I agree with all of those. I definitely use it to keep up with my family and friends. I have a lot of family in Guam, and so kind of like Anthony was saying, it's really nice to have a way to be able to keep up with them and talk to them through phone calls, because overseas calls can get very expensive. But I also use it to for work also. Working at the University of New Mexico, I use it a lot for the program I work for to let students know about our events and different programs that we have going on.
Okay. So now, what social media channels do you use?
So I'm probably the worst person with social media. I only use Facebook and Instagram, and I got Instagram like within the last year. So I don't use it that often. A lot of people always tell me to get Snapchat. This is the first time I use Google Plus in like 3 years. So yeah, I'm not the best. So it's usually I just stick to Instagram and Facebook, just because that's a lot what a lot of my friends and family use, and it's the best way for me to keep in touch with them.
All right.
So I use a little bit more than Anthony. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Those are probably my top four. I use LinkedIn a lot. I use YouTube more to watch stuff than put on my own stuff, but I do that. I use Vimeo for work. That's like YouTube, except like a little more professional. I only use Yelp if I really want to write an angry review and I'm really pissed off. But usually I'm not super into writing reviews or checking in places. And yeah, those are mine.
All right. Lean?
I would say I lean more towards Anthony's side of this. I use Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. I have a Twitter account, but I've never actually logged into it. I I do use Yelp to read reviews, not to write reviews, so I find them very helpful. Those would probably be it.
Jackie?
Okay. I use Instagram the most. That's something I use a lot and like look at the most. And then I use Facebook as well. I get on there a lot, but most of the only things I post on Facebook now are things that I already posted on my Instagram. I have a Twitter and a Snapchat that I've never used, either of them, like posting anything. Really, so I'm a Snapchatter and Facebooker, and that's kind of it as far as what I use.
Michelle?
Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For me, I use Facebook the most by far. I use that throughout the day to talk to people, sometimes while I'm at work. But after that, I use probably Snapchat the most. I definitely like to take pictures of just about everything and ridiculous videos and send them to my friends. I especially like to draw and everything. I really like that. That's why I use it so much. After that, I use Instagram, but I don't use Instagram too often. I don't just scroll through my newsfeed on Instagram the way I do with Facebook. So I usually only use Instagram when I actually post something, and then I'll usually scroll through my newsfeed. Otherwise, I don't really follow anybody other than my own friends. So it's only people I know personally. I don't follow celebrities or anything else like that. And those are the ones that I post. I don't have a Twitter account.
All right. The other question is, out of all those, which ones you use the most and which one's the least?
Whoops.
So for me, it's definitely Facebook and Instagram. And since I don't use anything else, I guess that's like Twitter. Like I've never really gotten onto that. So, but yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram daily. It's like a ritual for me. So.
I think my top three. Hard to pick one when I use the most, but my top three would be Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram. Least, I would say, would be Yelp and Foursquare. I don't think I mentioned Foursquare the last time, but I do have it. I just don't use it.
I would say, well, because Instagram has that little link where it says like post to Facebook, so you could post it at the same time. It's Facebook and Instagram I use the most. I also use Snapchat a lot to just look at things, but I don't actually post too many snaps. And I use Twitter definitely the least.
Mine would be the same as that. I use Instagram and Facebook throughout the day, every day. And usually whatever I post to Instagram is the same thing that I post on Facebook. Twitter, I'll snap people back and forth, but I don't really use it to post anything myself. And Twitter, I've never sent a tweet, even though I have a Twitter. And I never look at Twitter either, so that's my least.
For me, I use Facebook the most, by far. I use it all day, every day. Sometimes I have to admit. I also use Snapchat quite a bit. One I probably use, I didn't mention that first, but is my LinkedIn account. I have one, but I only use it every now and then to update my own information. But as far as using it regularly, I would only use it to look for jobs. Really. Otherwise, I'm just updating my own information.
All right. So that kind of also answered the next prompt, so we're going to go to question 2. And that is, how do you research vacation spots?
Vacation spots?
Yes.
So I'm actually taking a trip soon, so I can actually answer this question. I used Kayak a lot for just hotels and flights, but then I was using Google reviews a lot to figure out best restaurants to go to, best beaches, where's like maybe not the coolest place that people know about, kind of like those hole-in-the-wall places. So I was on Google a lot doing that, and I was through that I was able to use Instagram through hashtags just for the San Diego area. That's where I'm going to be going. So that was the way I was able to do a lot of research to see where I want to do and kind of plan my vacation.
Okay.
So when I'm booking a flight, I usually use Kayak just because it has like all the other searches together. Or if I know I'm flying domestically, I usually just go straight to the Southwest app on my phone. When I'm looking online for the place I want to go, my first stop is usually TripAdvisor. And other than that, I usually just read articles on Yahoo Travel, and that's about it.
Well, I'm going to be the grandma of the group because when I travel, I don't really use social media. I use Costco. Their whole little travel arrangement makes all your plans for you. So that's what I use.
I've used Travelocity and Expedia as far as looking at flights and what booking prices. When I went to Hawaii with my family, we used the VRBO site to find a vacation rental, which also gave like a ton of reviews and things like that. But usually I just let other people do it, and I'm like, all right, find something cheap, and I'll go along for the ride.
For me, for when I look for flights, I use Google Flights, actually. And it's the same concept as, like Experience all the different airlines. What I like about Google Flights is that it actually provides a calendar, the bar graph showing where the lowest prices are highlighted in green. And so that's why I like to use that, because it shows it in like a calendar form. So if I have flexible travel dates, Google Flights is great for that, so I can adjust accordingly to get a cheap price. When it comes to places to stay, I've used Booking.com, because it also has a lot of kind of like other websites you can adjust in the area that you want to stay in. And it provides a pretty good list of places to go. And I like that it has summaries and reviews written. So I've used Booking.com a lot for hotels.
All right. So have you ever researched a location based on what you came across on social media?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Have you ever researched a location based on what you came across on social media?
Oh yeah, definitely. On Instagram, I'm always seeing friends traveling, and it just there are always so many cool pictures, so many cool stories that I've looked into different places, kind of because I want to do a lot of traveling, so I started looking into a lot of that. So Instagram and Facebook has helped out a lot with kind of planning where I want to go based off of my friends and family stories of their trips in the past.
So usually, I'm not looking for certain stories about travel, but usually on Yahoo's been doing this thing where it's like a series. It's like the best breweries, the best pizza places, the best ice cream, the best zoos, like the best everything of each state. And I've been looking into that a lot because I always want to see what's on New Mexico's list, just to see if I've been there or not. And also in other places, depending on if I'm planning a trip or not, I'll say, oh, I wonder if there's something here. They also come out with a lot of good articles about like the best cruises, the best spots in certain countries. So really, I don't do a lot of travel research, but when it comes across on Yahoo, that's usually when I'm looking into it.
Most recently, my friend posted her vacation pics on Instagram, and they were at Turks and Caicos, and I've never heard of that. It's a British territory, and it's these beautiful beaches, but I definitely did a lot of research based off of her pics on Instagram.
I don't really go out of my way to research or something that I see on social media, but I do that same thing. If I see like a top 10 things to do while you're in this place and it's somewhere I'm interested in, I'll click on that and read through that. But I think that's just if I'm scrolling through and I see it, not something that I go out of my way to find.
I'm pretty similar to that, actually. I'm a big fan of lists because lists are so big right now, and it's a really good way of just putting a lot of information condensed into a really short form, so I can just kind of glance through and read the titles and know what it's talking about. Unless it's something that really, if it's like a beach or a more general location like that, I'll Google image it, maybe. Other than that, I don't look for too many reviews when it comes to my vacation like that, when it comes to places I want to visit or things I want to do. Yes.
All right. Have you ever used social media to research a spot?
Yeah, kind of like I was saying before, that I've like based off of my friends or families, the pictures that they upload, that I'll either use like Facebook or Google reviews or Yahoo search, all of that stuff to kind of look into those possible traveling destinations and to try to find maybe some more information. And I'm kind of all about trying to find maybe not the biggest places for people that are traveling, but kind of those hole-in-the-wall places, not really well-known places. So I definitely use social media on different scopes to try to find those places.
Sometimes, but not often. I'd have to really want to know more. I'd have to be planning something specific, but usually that's not my go-to thing.
I'd agree with Anthony again, just based off of pictures. If I see something that I really am super interested in, then I'll do the research to find, the local places, find the best rated places. But other than that, it's usually just kind of go with the flow type of thing.
I think the only way I really use social media, to actively research, would be to be in contact with someone I'm already friends with that I know has been there or lives there or has some history with the place. So if I'm going somewhere and I know someone lives there, I'll ask for what are fun things to do there or where should I go eat. So maybe contact someone one-on-one if I know they have a history with that place, but otherwise not really.
I definitely agree with what he says, especially Ashley, and unless I want to do something really specific, like I have something dead set in my mind, then I'll probably look up information on that. Otherwise, when I'm on vacation, it's kind of like fly by the seat of my pants and just go with it and see what happens. So usually I don't do too much.
All right. So the few who mentioned that you look at stuff based on the social media channels you use, what channels do you kind of see that you go with? That makes sense.
Wait, what?
Those who get ideas from the social media channels you follow, is there certain channels that are more Facebook? You see more of the postings that you like, or is it Instagram?
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, the basic ones for me is that Instagram and Facebook. A lot of my friends and family, they just upload everything to their Instagrams, and with that Instagram button where you could also post it to Facebook, so I usually see the same pictures on both sites. So usually I'll see it there on Facebook and Instagram and research it from there.
Okay.
So this question totally flew out of my mind when we were talking about this earlier. I use Pinterest all the time. I think that's probably something that's when I go.
Yeah.
Instead of usually doing a Google search now, depending on what it is, if it's a recipe, or certain quotes, um, like beauty tutorials. Um, those are the things I go to Pinterest for instead of like a Google image search, because Pinterest usually just has everything. And yeah, so that's what I usually use to like things or find something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now that you brought up Pinterest, I completely forgot about Pinterest. I use it like every day, and I agree that it's like the modern day Google image search because I don't even use Google anymore. I use Pinterest. What was the question, Adam?
You know.
So if you were interested by based on what someone posts on social media for like a location and you want to do research, what channels is that you come across? So I mean, it might not apply to all of you, but you can give ideas from social media.
I guess, like I said, Costco, you go to the Costco website and you type in, you go to their little travel area, you type it in and see if there are any good deals. Usually if there's not, I'll say, okay, I'll just look again another time. If there is, I'll say, like, maybe I can plan this.
All right.
I would go with Pinterest as well. I don't know. I don't know if that's social media.
Yeah, it is.
It counts? Okay. Then that's what I would say too. What?
I had to do my entire final project on it.
That Pinterest is social media? Oh, yeah, that's true. Then I'm with Pinterest as well. Would be my go-to.
Forgot about Pinterest, but I do use Pinterest, not as often as I do other things. But if I see something that somebody else posted, I'm just an avid Google imager, I guess. I just search it on Google, and that's how I find. Because if I'm looking for images or articles, it doesn't really matter. Google comes up with everything that I need. Other than that, I do type things into Pinterest as well to look at pictures, more specific.
So my next question is, what do you think of travel organizations that use social media? So like travel magazines, guidebooks, things like that?
I guess I really don't know. Haven't really come across that too often. I guess I've used, I think it's called TripAdvisor a lot. Because there's just reviews on different hotels, restaurants, locations, best areas. But I haven't really, I guess, used magazines that have used social media or anything like that. Looked into that.
I'm gonna have to kind of go the same with Anthony. I don't use travel social media at all. Like, the ones that come to mind are TripAdvisor, Lonely Planet, but I don't really use a lot of their stuff. It's usually me going to the internet and finding something general there versus going to a specific travel outlet to research a place. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess I would have to agree. I don't really use them. Costco has a lot of good brochures. So I use those. Those count.
I would say same thing. I don't really use social media, I don't think, as far as thinking of ways to travel. I think if I have a plan to travel in mind, I'll go directly to like a site. But I guess everyone kind of needs to use social media at this point, because all I go on is Instagram and Facebook, so it's a way to quickly get people's attention through the day.
Definitely agree with everybody because I don't really use, I guess, travel sites or anything for their social media sites, but at the same time, kind of like what Jackie was saying, I definitely think it's necessary for them because basically everybody has either a Facebook account or something going on these days. Even for myself, even if I don't use it for I guess, travel research like that. Facebook is what businesses all go to. So one of the first things I do if I'm going to a new business that I've never been to before, if it's a salon or whatever, I usually look it up on Facebook or look for their website. If they don't have a website, that's just a no-go for me. I don't go there at all because I think you should have a website at least. And Facebook is good because at least it has some information on there and reviews. So, like, I don't use it, but I think that it's necessary for them to have in case other people do.
So why do you think you don't use or follow or check the social media accounts of different travelers right
I would probably say just because I haven't really traveled that much. I've just been focusing on school so much that I guess I haven't really had the opportunity to really pursue that and to look into those outlets and how they use social media and how to get around. So that's probably the reason I really haven't looked into it.
For me, depending on the outlet, it's a little overwhelming. Especially if it's like a travel magazine in general, not like a business. So I feel like every single day there's like beautiful places that I want to go to, but I just don't have the time to look at them all. And it's just really exhausting to kind of keep up with all of them. So that's my reason.
Okay.
I would agree that it's very overwhelming at times. Sometimes it's very helpful, don't get me wrong. I feel like if social media gave out, I would be completely lost, especially I wouldn't know how to get places. There's so many helpful tips. But yeah, it's overwhelming a lot of the time.
I think as far as social media, at least because I'm an Instagram and Facebook person, that what you see a lot depends on who you follow or what you follow. So if I'm not really following anything traveling related, those are things I won't really see. But one thing I just thought of on Snapchat, when you look at people's stories and they've been doing stories of different cities or countries, I've liked seeing that and seeing what people are doing, a day in the life at each the cities that they're featuring that day. So I think that's the one that kind of catches my interest, travel wise.
For me, I don't think I use it very often because it's a pretty specific, I don't know what you would call that, but it's I only look to travel that if I plan on traveling soon, or if I'm just thinking about it. Otherwise, I just want to be in places that I know I can't be until I have money or time off or anything like that. But otherwise, it's I don't read many travel magazines anyway. It's more I find around the internet, so I don't really know of what I would follow. When it comes to things like TripAdvisor on or maybe different airlines, like Travelocity or Expedia, I wouldn't follow them on their I just go to them for flights. I don't need to see what people's reviews on Expedia, people's reviews on anything, because they don't really offer anything. I only use them as a resource when I need them. And so that's why I don't know.
What's going on?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, who is that?
Someone has a lot of background noise.
Oh, is it coming from mine? Do I need to leave?
It's probably.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Going off that, is there anything that those travel organizations can do to get you to follow them, or would want you interest you to follow them?
Wait, say it one more time.
So, is there anything those travel organizations could do or change that would interest you enough to follow them?
Nah, the only thing I can really think of is just what I think Jackie was saying is that on Instagram and on Facebook, I follow specific people, so if they're not posting about it, I really don't see it. And I know they have those suggested like ads that pop up from time to time in Facebook. So that's the only thing I could think of. If they can do some sort of eye-catching thing, or come to our website, book through social media, and get like a discount. That's the only way I can really think of me actually pursuing and using their social media outlets to actually pursue their outlet.
So Adam, your question cut off. What exactly were you asking?
Oh, so okay. So I know a lot of you don't follow travel organizations or social media. Is there anything that they could do that would interest you enough to follow them, or at least check them out more?
I guess this is kind of weird. Well, I'm trying to think of my own experience. Like, there were times when I did follow a lot of them, but I stopped. And a lot of the times, a lot of their content was overwhelming. So I think they need to kind of find a magical spot of posts per day or retweets per day without filling up my wall or my feed. It's usually not that big of a deal on Facebook, but when on Twitter, it's kind of overwhelming, and sometimes I just don't want to see whatever they're retweeting. So maybe just, I don't know. Or I guess maybe if they're offering like contests or something on their website and you have to follow them or something. Like, I would love to win a trip or win some sort of sweet prize from a travel website just because I followed them or retweeted something on social media. But that's really all that comes to mind.
Okay.
I would completely agree, because in the past I have seen a ton of those promos of, like, retweet this or repost this, and you could be entered to win, this or this or this. And I always kind of want to, but I'm like, no, if I do this, they're going to just blow up my feed with this, this, and this, and this. And then I really think, like, what are my chances of winning? And it's kind of like, is it worth it? And I usually say no and just keep scrolling. So if they put less, I don't want to say spam, but less advertisements on to really blow up your feed, then I would probably do it more often.
I would agree with that. I would say if I get something out of it, if there's a chance all get something out of it, then I would follow. And the other thing that would kind of that we talked about earlier that would make me maybe follow something more would be short little list of things, top 10 list or things like that of things that would interest me. That is short enough to hold me and my attention.
I completely agree, especially with Charlene and Jackie. Incentives are a big thing for me. I mean, for the bigger sites, obviously, like what Charlene was saying, I mean, I often think about, what are my chances? And if I do share this, that just means they're going to be posting a lot more things and overwhelming my newsfeed, where it's going to get to the point where I don't even see anything from my friends anymore. It's just all these sites that I try to win things on. But incentives would be a big thing for me. Or if they, don't post too much, but post enough where it's short things that can tend to my short attention span, that would keep me interested in their site longer, as if they just had long articles about things I don't care about.
All right. So question 4 is kind of similar to that one, but what are your opinions of travel companies, so like airlines, cruises, visitor bureaus that use social media?
I don't blame them for using social media. Just like someone said earlier, I mean, everybody's on social media. Everybody has it at Facebook, it seems like. So, I mean, they're just rolling with the times and trying to make sure that they get people's attention about the product. So, I definitely love it because it's easy access to it. I don't know if I usually use it that often, and the only times I really do use it would be times when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna travel. I wonder if Southwest is doing any sales right now, and you go to their Facebook really quick and see. So, like someone said, I don't blame them for using it, because this is the time we're basically in, and everybody uses it.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's great for customer service. Now that you've asked this question, I'm thinking of a trip that me and Michelle took a year ago to Puerto Rico, and I tweeted JetBlue about how I was excited that they had TV. So I could watch a specific show that night. And almost immediately...
What was it, Ashley?
What? Okay.
What show was it?
Nothing. It doesn't matter. But like about 5 minutes later, they tweeted me back, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I think it's good that they have social media for whatever they want to use, but that was a good experience I had.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially going back to what Anthony said about it being with the times. If they weren't on social media, they would be crashing and burning, because that's how they make their money, they make their sales. A lot of times, I said I go through Costco where I let, someone else take the planning, and I just kind of go along for the ride. But, if something did come up where I had to make a flight, or I had to make a, quick trip, or doing something completely on my own, I would definitely rely heavily on social media to get me there.
I agree with Lean and Anthony that it's just the world we live in, and the way that we connect right now is that you have to be on social media in order to have any sort of audience, and that's why I use it with my students. Is that's my audience and the way to connect and get people's attention, and that's the only way I'm going to get my news for the most part. Is if I see something on Facebook enough times, okay, then I'm going to look it up to see what's going on, and I think that's a way to quickly get people's attention. And then just thinking on like Instagram with hashtags, if you like hashtag something about, like we went on a cruise last year, if you hashtag something about the cruise and the brand and cruise, and someone can see that hashtag and try to connect back through that with you.
What is that noise?
I have no idea.
Not it.
I don't think it's me.
Well, anyway, sorry, Adam, what was the question again?
The question was, what's your opinions of travel companies, like airlines, cruises, visitor bureaus that use like social media?
What's my opinion of them using it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that's a weird noise going on. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so just what are my thoughts on those places? Okay, well, like I said, I don't use them. I was saying earlier, I think it's really necessary for pretty much everybody to have them available. In case anybody does look up things in our service, that's really important, because even something as small as that, I was excited when she told me about them responding to her tweet. I don't even use Twitter, but I think that's really important to definitely keep their business out there and let people know that they're not just there as a resource, they're there to respond to you when you have anything like that. So I think it's important.
Okay. So are there any travel companies that stand out to you?
Not really. Just because I really don't use it. The only one I can really think of is Southwest. Just because that's usually what I fly. So and I know a lot of people like Southwest, especially because their bags fly free. So I always see that on my Facebook. Is everyone's always talking about that. And then, like I said, just TripAdvisor is the only other thing I can really think of that I think has came across my social media feeds.
Well, for me, I'll have to say, just from like the last one, JetBlue, just because I thought that was really nice what they did last time. I saw it from Southwest with their love campaign. The only thing I've noticed from them is they had I don't want to say controversial story, but like they had a negative article, I think a year ago, when someone tweeted about their rude flight attendant or something, and then they were kicked off the flight right before it took off. So I don't know if they should be using social media to creep on their passengers, but whatever. But those are really that I can think of. And yeah, that's it.
Adam, can you repeat the question to me real quick?
Yeah, I need that repeated.
Are there any travel companies that that stand out to you?
What?
There's some
There's something.
growling going on in the
Zach,
background.
you have a microphone?
Hold on.
Is it growling?
I'm glad I'm not the only one that hears that.
Okay. So I temporarily muted Anthony.
Just like in real life.
Okay. So the question is, are there any travel companies that stand out to you who use social media?
Okay, I heard you. Gotcha.
Okay, is it my turn?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I was laughing. What's the question?
What?
I was laughing. What's the
Oh,
question?
so are there any travel companies who use social media that stand out to you?
I see Travelocity all the time, and I swear I've never followed them, so I don't know if they just pay more to have advertisements like pop up on Facebook more often. But I see them all the time, even though I don't really use them.
All it takes is
The one I
googling
see
them.
the most is on like Southwest and their deals on, or that people will be like reposting or sharing that if they do this, then they might want a free flight. And I think I see that most often on Facebook.
Okay.
Michelle.
I have to say, I guess, .com. The first time I used it was to go and just Holy Cow the first time was amazing, was really good. So I definitely go back to booking like a place I want to stay. Southwest, I don't follow them on social media. I might because I really like their they have pretty it's like their want to get away or something like that, and so through different places that they're flying to for a cheaper than normal price, and that's something I would definitely follow them for.
Okay. Can you hear us, Anthony? Okay. So the next question is, what qualities or strategies by these companies or other travel companies that stick out to you? And you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Okay. So are there any qualities or strategies that stick out to you by these travel companies?
The biggest thing I could just think of is just announcing like sales that they're gonna have. Just that's the only reason I could think of pursuing that, and that's the only thing that really sticks out to me because when I'm doing my research is, you just want to find the cheapest way to get somewhere, or you're trying to always save some money. So that would jump out to me as just some sort of discount or just some cool offer that they're offering for places.
There's nothing that I've really seen besides sales that have really stood out to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to cut it at that.
That's fine.
I'd agree, same thing. I skipped you, Charlene. I don't know why I did. I'm sorry. I went out of alphabetical order.
Do you want to go? It seems like you really have a good answer.
Well, basically, I was just going to say that I agreed. So, I really don't. I apologize, though. I got too eager.
Well, I agree, too. I mean, who's not looking for free stuff? That is the biggest attention grabber in any sort of marketing history ever. It's not ever going to change. So discounted stuff, free stuff.
Before Michelle starts, I forgot to add something.
Okay.
Besides sales, I really like to pay attention to the New Mexico True hashtag, just because I like to see what pictures people are posting around New Mexico and how beautiful that they can be sometimes. But other than that, I don't really pay attention to specific campaigns by anyone. So that's all I'm going to say.
Adam, I'm so sorry. What was the question again?
Are there any qualities or strategies that these companies are doing that catch your attention?
Oh, okay. Then yes, I agree with everybody. Not going back to contests and things like that. I do like to see things that these companies are giving away. Kind of like I don't. There's no specific hashtag I pay attention to, but say I go rocks, I like to use pertaining to tent rocks, so I can see different pictures that other people have taken, but in the same place I was just at, there, or that I'm currently at, or like the conference I went to last week. I like to. They gave us the official hashtags. Mm-hmm. Different posting from the same place that I was. So that was really neat. But otherwise, really that these companies pay attention to.
Okay. So final question, or like the last set of questions, basically. But in your opinion, what specific social media channels are best suited to play a larger role in vacation planning?
Anthony,
Sorry, can you say that one more time? It cut out on my end.
Okay, so in your opinion, what specific social media channels are best suited to play a larger role in vacation planning?
I would just have to say, I think Facebook and Instagram definitely. With Instagram, it's just I scroll and all you see is videos and pictures. So I think that would be a good way to capture, trying to put out word about you could travel here, you could do this, you could use this. Because I'm a very visual person, so just seeing videos and pictures that would pop off to me when I'm scrolling through my video. So that's what I think of would be the best for that platform.
I'm going to have to say Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope. All three of them are very visual. Specifically with Snapchat and Periscope, you're in the now, you're live. It only lasts for a certain amount of time. So those are the three I'm going to go with.
I would go with Instagram and Snapchat just because Instagram you can do hashtag for days. You can just follow the hashtags and learn more and more and more about what you're researching. And then Snapchat I just thought has those like every day they do a different country or a different city, and it's just a whole story based off of what's going on in that city at that time. And I think that's cool, especially when they do like festivals. They try to do those stories on the days that they have like really cool festivals, so that when people are looking on Snapchat, they say, oh, maybe next year. It gives them time to plan the trip. It gives them time to save up the money, and they can say, I want to go to this festival next year.
I think as far as the planning stages, as before you're going, is more of Facebook and Pinterest. And I think especially Pinterest, like you can create a whole board of all these different ideas of things to do and like your travel packing list and tips to save money and, and what days to buy airplane tickets. I think there's lots of tips and things there that goes in the planning stages. And I think like Facebook too has some of those links that pop up more. To me, Instagram is more of a after or during versus a planning as far as vacation. Like you're posting of what you're doing or what you've done, and I think that's more of an after thing versus a planning. So as far as beforehand planning, I think to me it's more Pinterest.
So we're talking about just planning, the planning phase, pretty much, Adam?
Well, yeah, planning or future ideas, anything kind of doing vacations.
Okay. Then with Jet, for planning specific, like Instagram is a great thing to use, but yeah, it seems like more of a during or after type use. Whereas like with Facebook, if you go to somebody's page, and it has you can look at things because Instagram is just one big block of pictures. But with Facebook, you have albums, so you can look at different types of activities or places. And yeah, so I think like Pinterest and Facebook would be really good for planning more so.
Okay, so kind of the last part then. Are there any channels that you see not helping out or like being a part of vacation planning?
Um, I guess I really can't speak to it just because I'm so limited with social media outlets. So I don't know if Twitter really uses it that often. I couldn't imagine it, but that would be the one. And based off everyone else's stories, it seems like that's maybe not one that's taking advantage of their platform to do that. So that's maybe something to step up on.
Um, I think all of them have a certain niche if they can find it. I think Twitter is still pretty useful. Facebook. I can't really see any of them not being useful or not. I don't really have a lot of, I guess, I don't want to say experience, but I guess the expertise to say that they wouldn't. I don't know if that answers your question.
Again, I'd have to agree with Anthony just because I only use those three main: Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and I think they're all doing a great job of, focusing on, not even focusing, but having that traveling aspect element on their apps or whatever, their social media. So from what I use, they all seem pretty decent, but there's so many more that I don't use, so I couldn't say.
I would agree with that as well. I think like Ashley's listed a lot of things. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. A social, for social media. So it's like, I'm not that knowledgeable in different types. I use like two. But I think one thing that has impressed me would be the Snapchat one because I don't really use Snapchat at all. I don't really do a story, but I will go on every day to like see what country they're featuring, and so like that has brought me onto their media site more. Because I like to see like the day in the life of things that people do in different cultures, and so that has grabbed me and my attention to an outlet that I don't use if it weren't for that really. So that's captured my attention more. So I think they are doing a good job taking advantage of that.
So for me, I don't know. It's overwhelming how many social media sites there are out there. I cannot keep track of them. In fact, Adam usually keep me up to date pretty much with the different things that are coming out. But travel, I guess I would say like Twitter might be used to planning ahead, of course. But of course, each of these sites serve a certain purpose to each, travel site or location. But when it comes to planning, I think to least useful. If I'm planning on going somewhere, unless it tells me like, oh, if you're here in 3 weeks, like this is going to be happening, as things are happening that I don't really care about unless I'm there to enjoy them.
All right. So that's all my questions. Does anyone want to add anything?
Related to this? No. But I do have a question about the noises at Anthony's house because I want to know what that is.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on over there.
So,